Thank you for this opportunity. It's nice to have a captive audience of future social workers or people who can make a difference in the lives of young people. Um, it's not an easy decision to tell your story because you're putting yourself out there. Um, and it's difficult every time you do it. You know, I just feel all these emotions right now because, um, you know, it's the life I lived and difficult life that I had to work through to get to the point that I've gotten to. Would I change a thing? No, because it's caused me to be the person that I am today. Person that I like a lot, and I think Ms. Michelle
Yes.
likes me as well.
Absolutely. And I was glad you liked me. That made a big difference in my life.
Okay. But one of the things that we didn't have growing up was adults who would listen, or people who cared about what we thought or what we felt. Um, provide services for us, yes, but hear what I have to say or hear what I feel, no. That never happened. So I want to put that out there first, just for you to marinate on, that you really need to involve the young people that you work with that are in foster care. They need to know about the decisions that you make on their behalf. They need to be told when you're getting ready to move them from point A to point B. Um, they just need to have a dialogue with you when you're making a decision about who they are and why they behave the way they do. They need to have that dialogue with you so they understand what your thinking is, and so that you also understand what their thinking is. We can't make decisions with half of the information. So I just want to throw that out there first of all. But I began my journey in the foster care system or in out-of-home care at the age of 3. My mother was diagnosed with tuberculosis back in I believe early 50s when I was born. And so she was in and out of the home. So at least I would say 3 to 5 times a year we were in out-of-home care with a relative or um, family friends or foster care, depending on who was able to take us. Um, I had 3 other siblings, so there were 4 of us. And my mother was a single parent. To this day, I don't know who my father is, if you can believe that. But that's just one of those issues that resulted in my life. So she was hospitalized 3 to 5 times a year, and we were staying with all of these different people. Now, we did not know why we weren't at home. All we knew, you know, and it became a way of life for us, is that we were going to go stay with Uncle Sam, or we were going to go stay with cousin so-and-so, or we were going to stay with um, in a foster home. So that happened up until I was about 5 years old, and we all came together as a family unit at that time. Very happy to be together because we never seemed to all be in the same place at one time. The issues that we grappled with was poverty. We were very poor, very happy, but very poor. We survived on government assistance, you know, by the way of a check on the first of the month was happy days. Um, the commodities, I don't know if you're familiar with commodities, the government cheese and the government food that were given to families at that time. That was, you know, what we made our primary meals out of. The family illness that was a secret. No one knew what the illness was. So dealing with that, dealing with substance abuse. Um, dealing with multiple evictions. We were always moving because, you know, my mother would go on a binge at the beginning of the month and forget to pay the rent. So by maybe the third week in the month, we were trying to find someplace else to stay. And then the men that were in and out of, you know, our home, for whatever reason, trying to keep them at bay. So those were some of the things that I faced as not a foster child, but in my home, in my parental home. I experienced the loss of my mother at the age of 12. Traumatized because she died right next to me. Not ever dealing with that trauma, not ever dealing with that through the system, mental health, or any other kind of way. Never having the opportunity to process any of that until I became an adult and sought the help on my own to process through those issues. Excuse me. After that, my second round of placements began in foster care and kinship care, and trying to navigate the world on your own because you don't have that parent figure, those family members who step up and give you direction and give you guidance. You're in a foster home that provides for your basic needs, but don't provide for your emotional and mental health needs. And maybe in some cases because they didn't want to or didn't know how to. The training wasn't there in many cases. So those are really the main points that I want to get across, is the stigma also that children who go into foster care have to deal with. And I think that has a lot to do with the communication or the fact that people, the lack of communication, or the fact that people are kind of standoffish from you because they don't know what to say to you, or they make these assumptions about you as a foster child. And also being a teenager in foster care, not having that level playing field, not having the opportunities to participate in after-school activities, not having the resources so that you can dress like other kids, your peers in high school, just having to survive at a different level, and basically having to take care of yourself and develop your own value system in terms of what's right and what's wrong. So those are the main points that I want to make in terms of my experience in foster care. It wasn't as tragic as most young people who have been in foster care. I was fortunate enough to have decent foster homes, but there were still things missing that could have really aided me in my growth and development, and my development of self-esteem. Thank you.